way, only fools and horses would write off Millwall. They have the ball, and Lawrence, the captain, moved from full-back, of course, into central defence for the first time now. Cahill, the ball inside the centre circle. Livermore. Millwall want to start well here and give everybody an early touch. Sweeney with a good left foot, of course, over on that left-hand side of the field. Manchester United haven't got the ball yet. Livermore slips and then picks out Sweeney once more. Ryan trying to get it forward, and now Roy Keane is the first player in red to get the ball for Manchester United. They're just going to knock it through the back four, and even a team with all of their experience will have just a little of the butterflies early on here as they look for Van Nistelrooy for the first time. Important early interception by Darren Ward, the centre-back, up against Van Nistelrooy. And now Millwall, well, they're looking to clear, but they play it very confidently short. And then they look to Sweeney again over on the left-hand side of the field. Very composed opening here by Millwall, the lowest placed club ever to get to a cup final. 10th, remember, in the nationwide, the first division last season. As we welcome to the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff on what is a coolish afternoon, we welcome all our friends around the world to the cup final. We're just underway. Millwall have begun brightly, and Manchester United, one or two players, Ryan Giggs included, hasn't even had a touch of the ball yet. Ball bouncing around inside the United half. It's back on the halfway line. Livermore, and this is good possession football. This is what Ray Wilkins in particular would have been encouraging Millwall. Get an early feel of the contest here. Now the first foul, and the first perhaps of a few, by Ryan on Ronaldo, gives Manchester United a free kick, and here's Jimmy on.
Yes. Well, obviously the first plan is to get a few touches on the ball for Millwall. Just settle down. That's exactly what they've done. And just a little bit over anxious there, knocked Ronaldo down. That's the first free kick. But Millwall composed at least in the first few minutes.
Scholes coming deep, finds Ronaldo, and for me Ronaldo and Giggs are the two key players in this United lineup as they try and open up Millwall. And of course Elliott, very inexperienced, playing at right back, but the ball at the moment is on the other side of the field, and it's going to be another free kick. This time Ryan Giggs has been fouled, and Millwall mustn't concede too many of these early on. It's a free kick to Manchester United, wide on the far side of the field. This is their right. At the moment Van Nistelrooy is on his own inside the penalty area, but now Wes Brown and Mikel Silvestri go forward, and we hear the United fans for about the first time since this game got underway. Scholes and Giggs together over on the far side. Complete misunderstanding. Now Scholes takes the kick and it's headed away easily by Millwall, and Sweeney's there on the edge of the area and looks for Harris, the centre forward. Fails to find him, and United are back in possession once more. Keane sitting deep. 6 cup finals, not all of them of course successful. A loser with Nottingham Forest, a loser once with Manchester United. Keane onto Fletcher, who was just unmarked, and Millwall will have to be tighter on the Scottish international. Fletcher's given it away. Alex Ferguson's got such high hopes of him. Now Mill walking to try and counter-attack. Ryan back to Ward. Ward, square ball through the penalty area for Lawrence, and now Elliott, the 19-year-old, gets his first touch. Long ball towards Harris on the halfway line. Well defended by Silvestri. Now Keane gets away from Dennis Wise in midfield. Plays a 1-2 with Scholes. It's Ronaldo down the Manchester United right. Cross comes in, headed wide by Van Nistelrooy.
Well, Manchester United there really created a chance. And I thought when the ball came over, I thought Van Nistelrooy was going to score. I've seen him put those in, but it's a good move. Keane was the man who did it. He beat Wise in the middle of the field, got it out wide. Ronaldo put the ball in early. That was the important thing. Van Nistelrooy diving header, and he just put it past the post. Millwall just caught out a little bit at the back there. Van Nistelrooy just given that warning. In the box, you've got to really mark him tight.
Just over 4 minutes gone of the cup final, live on BBC Radio 5 Live and World Service. Interesting to see Keane there getting away quite easily from Dennis Wise in midfield. We have to assume Wise is fit. Pivotal selection. The manager, he's got the ball. Now remember what he once did with a free kick in the cup final all those years ago for Wimbledon against Liverpool. Wise poised to take this free kick. It's a good 35 yards away from Tim Howard's goal. First American goalkeeper to play in the final. It's a wretched free kick from Wise, and it was straight at Scholes, and now United looking to break. Van Nistelrooy slips inside the centre circle. So does Dennis Wise as well, and eventually the captain Lawrence looking for Harris, and Millwall will need better balls than that. Here they come again. Good control from the centre forward Harris. Finds Eiffel down below on the right hand side. Eiffel looking to try and play the ball into Harris. Wes Brown's there. Silvestri clears. Fletcher now coming deep, shuffles across the field. He's got Ronaldo available on the outside. Fletcher still holding. Fletcher approaches the halfway line. Manchester United 0, Millwall 0 in the cup final. Ronaldo now trying a few tricks down the far side. Sweeney's coming back to help out the fullback. Then Fletcher with a lovely ball finds O'Shea, who just stood off there against Ifill. And Ifill coming in strongly against John O'Shea. And too strongly, says referee Jeff Winter. He gives Manchester United a free kick.
Well, he did well there. I thought he was coming in. I think it was 6-1 half a dozen of them. They were both having a scrap for the ball. And O'Shea definitely had his arm up as well. I thought he couldn't let that go.
Millwall confident from the start, but now Manchester United beginning to settle down as Gary Neville finds Fletcher down the right-hand side. And they're giving the ball as much as they can early on here to Ronaldo, I notice. In the centre circle, United now finding Scholes. Scholes to Keane, always available. Keane once more picks out the man down the right-hand side, on this occasion Gary Neville. Scholes, chipped ball infield to Fletcher. Manchester United 0, Millwall 0 in the cup final. Fletcher, Keane says, I'll have that one. He's 25 yards out. He manages to get round Cahill. It's back again to Fletcher. Fletcher's getting a lot of the possession at the moment, and that's overhit by him. And it's a goal kick, and this will be Andy Marshall's first touch in the Millwall goal.
Yeah, so what's happening? Millwall are not sort of jumping in on the halfway line. What they're doing, they're putting up a line of 4 at the back, and then they've got Wise and Cahill and Livermore just in front of them. And they're sort of creating 2 lines. So people like Fletcher and Gary Neville and O'Shea, they're going to get a lot of the ball. And it's how they use it. Fletcher tried one there, a bit too clever, I thought. He should have, he put the ball away, could have kept a little bit of possession. But I think the Manchester United back players may get a bit of the ball. The other thing noticeable is Neil Harris is all on his own up front for Millwall. They're going to have to watch that. He can't keep running forever over 90 minutes.
No, but Ifill and Cahill make very good runs from midfield, and they'll be trying to support Harris as much as they can. It's still Celtic 0, Dunfermline 0 in the Scottish Cup final, just like it is here in Cardiff. John O'Shea now, who just got the vote ahead of Philip Neville at left back today. Fletcher again recedes and finds Keane. United starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm here, which will be dangerous, of course, for Millwall. Scholes hits the ball straight at Dennis Wise. Comes back again to Manchester United. Gary Neville on his left foot this time. Darren Ward with the long blonde hair gets up, and now Millwall have a free. No, they haven't. Jeff Winter was happy with the challenge by Scholes on Cahill, and it's Fletcher heavily involved once more. Ronaldo down the Manchester United right. 3 United players in the area. Ronaldo's crossing opportunity, and it goes, headed on by Giggs. Scholes missed kick. Another chance maybe for Paul Scholes. United still threatening down this near side. John O'Shea. O'Shea lifted in by Silvestri in the area, headed on by Giggs. Out comes Marshall. Well, Ronaldo delivered, and United almost took the lead.
Fantastic centre. The ball was flicked from behind his left foot with his right foot. It was a fantastic cross up by Ronaldo. And Scholes, you're right, he completely miscued. It was a half chance that.
Now here come Millwall, and the problem that Jimmy was talking about, Harris all on his own against 2 Manchester United defenders. They can't retreat too much here, Millwall. But Ronaldo, who of course on the very first weekend of the season came on to excite the United supporters against Bolton, trying his tricks, and also at the end of it there was an end product. Keane now looking to try and release Giggs, but Elliott's there, playing only for the 4th time at right back, and up against Ryan Giggs, one of the most dangerous wingers of course in Europe. United now with Fletcher once more, turning away from Livermore. Fletcher started very confidently here, onto Scholes. Scholes drags it wide from about almost 30 yards, and that's an Andy Marshall goal kick.
Yes, it was a left foot shot really, he took with his right foot. But Fletcher, he started confidently because, he's going to get a lot of room, Mike. He's playing very deeply. He's just in front, really, of Sylvester and Brown, and he's going to get a bit of space there. And it's how he uses the ball that's going to matter most of all to Manchester United.
And he's got the role that David Beckham always wanted, but was never given in central midfield playmaking for Manchester United. Andy Marshall, once of Norwich and Ipswich, he was brought to Millwall because of Tony Warner's injury. He's only contracted for another month, so he's definitely playing for his future. Now here come Millwall, but Harris is given offside, as Ifill's header found him, and he was 2 or 3 yards offside, and that's going to be Manchester United's free kick. We've played just over 10 minutes of the first half. Manchester United 0, Millwall 0 on 5 Live, Sport on 5, BBC World Service. Gary Neville So much experience, of course, in the Manchester United side. Neville and Keane, and now Neville lifts it too high for Ronaldo over on the far side. It's interesting. I'll get a comment from Jim in a moment, but let's have early words also from Steve Claridge. Steve?
Yeah, there's two main points really coming out. Firstly, I don't know why people go on about Ronaldo. His final ball in has been fantastic for about 6 months now. I think he's really is learning the game. I just think he's a fantastic all-round player. They've got a threat now out wide, both wings for them, which is important, particularly on a day like today. Secondly, the point about Millwall being nervous, it's not being nervous coming into the game. It's being nervous when you've got the ball. They've got to show bravery on the ball, because what they cannot do is keep losing possession, give cheap balls away, because Manchester United will absolutely short them. They've got to be strong and they've got to be brave on the ball.
Thank you, Steve Claridge, who played with many of these Millwall players last season, of course. Whilst he was talking, there was a free kick given against Cahill. Manchester United have taken it, and once more it's with Fletcher. Fletcher now finding John O'Shea near side the field. Ball in from him towards Giggs. Giggs has a second chance. O'Shea on the overlap. Arthur has to be careful, and he was. But that was a rare moment, Jimmy, where United cropped up down this near side, because how long have we played? Nearly 12 minutes. Most of the action so far has been over on that other side with Ronaldo.
Yes, because they put a bit of width in the play. That's why they got in there. And it was a nice little return pass after Fletcher had it, and O'Shea on the overlap. And I thought he chased back well there. I thought it was a very good chase back by Eiffel. You know, he read the play, and they've got to read the play defensively. And the point there that Steve was making, I think from Millwall's point of view as well, you know, they mustn't let Harris get stranded, because when the ball goes up there and it keeps coming back, there's nothing more deflating than that, because eventually something will happen. You know,
Manchester United 0, Millwall 0 in the cup final. And Mark McGee, the manager of Millwall at the start of the season, made a comment in the build-up saying that if Millwall had been playing Arsenal today, he would have put his mortgage on an Arsenal victory. But because it's Manchester United and they can be so inconsistent, then who knows? We will go to the Celtic-Dunfermline final in just a moment, but we'll just stay with Millwall for the moment, because they've got a throw-in below near side. And it's a chance to try and find Harris, but they don't find him, with a very nervous throw there from Elliott. Scrambling back, though, well for them is Cahill, and then Dennis Wise, who's not been in the game very much so far, thrusts a long ball down towards the corner flag for Harris to chase. And he hasn't kept it in. It's a goal kick to Manchester United, and here's Roddy Forsyth.
Dunfermline 0, Celtic 0 on the quarter-hour mark. A good open game, chances at both ends. That's what we hope for. Dempsey with a free kick, just swirling beyond the wall, beyond the post for Dunfermline, and then Stilly having to pluck the ball off the boot of Larson. Billy McNeil, it's as good a start as we could have hoped for.
Well, it is. It's very open, and both teams seem intent on making progress when they get the ball. You just get the feeling that Celtic are increasing the tempo just a little bit, and how Dunfermline will cope with that, I don't know.
Dunfermline 0, Celtic 0 at Hampden.
Thank you very much. And back here in Cardiff, it's Ronaldo not controlling it first time, down the left-hand side, sending the cross in. Lawrence, the captain, was behind it, and Elliott with an over-strong clearance. No chance of Harris getting on the end of that one. And it's a good turn by Wes Brown to find the unmarked Roy Keane. And there's a big gap between the Millwall midfield and Harris. As now Keane goes on a charge. Marshall diving at Keane's feet, and then almost going down to make the save. But in the end, the ball had too much on it, and Marshall didn't have to make any attempt to make the save there. It's a goal kick to Andy Marshall, and this is a problem tactically here now, isn't it? This big vacuum that exists between the Millwall midfield and their striker.
Yes, the point is, you see, that eventually good teams will punish you, you know, if you can't retain possession. And, you know, you can defend all you like, but eventually, you know, if you're not going to score at the other end or look as though you're going to score, they're going to get more men forward in better positions, and, you know, that's the problem they've got. But I suppose, you know, while it's still 0-0, anything could happen. There could be a change coming soon, you know. Dennis Wise might have planned this. Let's get through the first 20 minutes, keep it 0-0, get them edgy. We'll see.
Well, Wise is in that usual position in front of the back four. His team began with a bit of possession from the kick-off. Now they've snatched the ball away from their own goalkeeper. A little bit of a panic there between Lawrence, but Millwall keep it, and now Wise, who's very good at keeping the ball, slips it up towards the halfway line. An edgy layoff by Eiffel, then drilled forward by Elliott, and that's a good ball to Cahill. Cahill down below on the near side. Infield to Wise. That's better from Millwall. Half a dozen passes or so, and the ball eventually ends up out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. 0-0 in the cup final on 5 Live and BBC World Service. 0-0 between Celtic and Dunfermline at Hampden. Now Scholes catches Lawrence, and Jeff Winter gives the free kick to Millwall. And here's a chance now to, just looking at Darren Ward now. He's going to move inside the Manchester United half. He's going to do more than that. He's going to go right upside along Harris. This is going to be a long free kick from Lawrence, and Ward now is playing at centre forward. In goes the kick towards Ward. Ward getting up with United defenders. It's bouncing around on the edge of the Manchester United penalty area, and Giggs and Sylvester between them take care of business. And now Scholes seems surprised to get that down this near side, and he can't get past Lawrence, and United have a throw.
Yeah, free kicks and corners. Millwall will take the time to get the big men up. That's exactly part of the old plan. You can see what's going to happen in Manchester United. You're going to have to defend all those sort of situations, because that's Millwall know that's where they can snatch a goal.
Paul Scholes, 10 yards inside the Millwall half. United playing from right to left. 0-0. Good ball across the field to Gary Neville. He's done that thousands of times in his life. Gary Neville now sees Ronaldo available on his outside. Ronaldo faced by Sweeney, the Scottish under-21 player. Ronaldo skates forward, lays it off, and United have to go backwards. Keane wants the ball, but Sylvester ignores it and picks out John O'Shea instead. Van Nistelrooy on the edge of the area. John O'Shea's going forward, and it goes to Van Nistelrooy, trying to turn with 2 defenders. Ball's bouncing around. Scholes in the end looking for the ricochet, and in the end Marshall drops on an easy one and now prepares to clear for Millwall. Sun threatening to break through here at the Millennium Stadium.
Yeah, they're still a bit cool, which will help the players, but that was very good play by Ward, Millwall central defender. I've seen Van Nistelrooy give Premier League central defenders problems with that. Back to goal, holding the ball. He just stood his ground. He did exceptionally well there.
All this with Livermore, and he finds Sweeney over on the far side. Sweeney comes inside against Gary Neville, and he's just fouled by Gary Neville, according to Jeff Winter. And the free kick is taken quickly by Millwall. Millwall breaking down the left-hand side. The cross comes in towards Harris. Sylvester gets his foot in first. Roy Keane turns inside the 6-yard area with great confidence, plays the ball out of difficulty, and now it's with Ryan Giggs. Giggs over to Fletcher. Short ball to Fletcher. Fletcher now will pick out Ronaldo. Ronaldo skips easily around Sweeney. Spaced now by Livermore. Comes in field and goes past Cahill. Here comes Ronaldo, showboating and turning it on. Goes to the ground, wins the free kick. Dennis Wise getting involved there off the ball with Ronaldo. The first flashpoint of the game, inevitably that, involving the Millwall manager. And Jeff Winter will want to sort this one out and presumably speak to Dennis Wise. Roy Keane's getting involved as well. And it will be eventually a free kick to Manchester United. How did you see all that?
Well, what he got a bit of a trick going through there. He was clever, a bit of showboating as you call it, but he was clever by Ronaldo going through the middle. Crowd loved it, or at least the United fans loved it. When he went down, there was 2 or 3 got involved. Wise over the top. Fletcher, don't know what he wants to get involved with. He was sent off last week, and I think the thing is that the referee's been quite good about it. He's had a word with them all. It's going to be a free kick to Manchester United, but there was a bit of a flashpoint just for a second there. But I saw Wise, he actually put his hand on Ronaldo.
Right, 19 minutes gone in the cup final. Free kick, it's a very long way out for Manchester United. Ronaldo and Giggs are there, and Scholes backs away. Van Nistelrooy in the area. Also in the area is Silvestre, and it's going to be Ronaldo from distance. Well, it was fiercely struck. It was a good 2 or 3 yards wide in the end, and that's a goal kick to Millwall.
Yes, it was a drive, and they were looking for rebounds because Sylvester had gone up and it just went beyond him on the near post. But Ronaldo started well. He started confidently. He's been playing well actually in the last couple of months or so. He's moved up with the pace of the game. He's got a little bit of physical content in his game as well. And there are signs that he's just going to give 1 or 2 problems to Millwall. They're going to have to think this one out.
Millwall yet to really test Tim Howard in any shape or form away to our right. Not having enough moments on the ball, and Wise was a bit loose there as he tried to mop up in midfield. Is a bit wild with the challenge. Giggs sends the ball in, and that's been put away by Livermore. And it's a corner kick to Manchester United, who've just had moments where they threatened to turn on the style here in the first half, but still 0-0. And the corner kick will be taken by the man we seem to have talked most about so far in the commentary, Cristiano Ronaldo. Van Nistelrooy trying to shake off his marker inside the 6-yard area. He doesn't like the attention he's getting from Lawrence, and the referee Jeff Winter's going to have to sort this one out as well.
Yeah, well, Ronaldo actually, what he's doing, he's standing facing the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper was complaining as well.
Van Nistelrooy.
So naturally the central defender... Sorry, I beg your pardon. Sorry, Van Nistelrooy, I beg your pardon. And, and the goalkeeper doesn't like it. What he's doing, he's bobbing round. The goalkeeper just has to put up with that just for the moment.
Right, here comes the corner kick, eventually to the near post, and the whistle's gone straight away by the referee. United have got it anyway at the near post, and Millwall have the free kick.
Yes, I've seen United do that before. Van Nistelrooy sort of looking at the goalkeeper. It's not within the spirit of the game is perhaps the right word, but these days to try all sorts of things at corner kicks. There's all sorts of goes on in the 6-yard area these days. Very difficult for referees.
Well, we've played nearly a quarter of the game, and Millwall will be happy with the scoreline at least. Yes, Steve Claridge. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fine so far. What we've got to do, I mean, they've got to get Cahill up to support Harris. I mean, you've just seen it there, prime example. He flicks the ball on, and there is absolutely nobody around. I think what we're going to do, the whole shape and spectre of the game will change if Manchester United score, because the onus will then be on Millwall to come out, and it will be difficult for Millwall then to change their style of play. It'll open up, but whether they'll get back into it, I don't know. They've got to get more support forward. It's as simple as that. They cannot defend for 90 minutes like this.
United getting the possession, but it's still 0-0. Almost halfway point of the first half. Giggs taking on Elliott, and the youngster does well there. The right back up against Ryan Giggs, but he fails to clear it, and Giggs looking for John O'Shea. O'Shea, the ball is partially cleared by Millwall. Keane with a strike, turned over by Marshall. The first real explosive action of the cup final. Roy Keane, almost a goal scorer there. Marshall made a great save. United have a corner, halfway point of the first half, and here's Alan Green.
That would have been his 50th goal for Manchester United. It was goal-bound. It was an excellent save by Andy Marshall. But it remains Manchester United 0, Millwall 0. Millwall are playing very well. United not quite on the ball yet. Ronaldo apart. Now the corner to United from the right side. Giggs takes it. Left footed. Just takes it in. Ronaldo's there. So too is the defender though. That was Cahill. Heads it away. Giggs flashes the ball back into the penalty area. It's headed clear once more, this time by Livermore. And now here's Roy Keane. Clever little back heel to O'Shea. Keane once more. Keane on towards Silvestre, and collected well by Ronaldo, who certainly is on form. Ronaldo moving in towards the penalty. Giggs one way, then the other, and then the defender gets his body in the way, goes behind off Cahill. It's another corner to Manchester United, the pressure builds. Yeah, Wise is the man who got round the back there and gave it away, but Ronaldo switched over to the left-hand side. He's full of it at the moment, and the pressure is really on Millwall. It's a great save by Marshall. Ronaldo's corner played in weakly towards the near post, and it was chested away by Elliott, and hooked out of play by Livermore, or rather by Harris. It's going to be a throw-in to Manchester United. You're listening to 5 Live with the World Service here on the BBC, the 123rd FA Cup final, and the 4th that we've had here at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. Harris has the ball from Millwall. He's inside his own half. He's being hustled by Paul Scholes, and Scholes hustles him out of possession, but unfairly according to Jeff Winter, and it will be a free kick to Millwall. Scholes might have been booked a few minutes ago, and of course he might have been booked for a second time against Chelsea in the Premiership game at Old Trafford, and that would have meant he'd have missed this game, suspended. Dickio is suspended for Millwall. Interesting now, when you see now, gone up again. Ward's gone up in front line, free kick 2, and the goalkeeper's taking it just short of the halfway line. Marshall, right-footed. High it goes, headed into the penalty area by Ward, taken on the chest by Silvestre, and then cleared by the Frenchman, high and dropping towards the edge of the centre circle. Van Nistelrooy heads it in field, but that's running to Elliott, and Elliott concedes possession rather too easily. Keane scoops it forward. That's met by Lawrence, the Millwall captain. Here's Livermore. That's an ambitious pass to the left flank, but Gary Neville has to chase after it to prevent Sweeney getting there. Hits it back. Hard's clearance was poor. Cahill to the left back, Ryan, and on to Sweeney in the sunshine on the far side. Down the Millwall left. Back to Robbie Ryan, and was certainly playing his last game for Millwall. Into Harris, edge of the penalty area. Brian is hustling him wide. The pass goes out to Sweeney. Sweeney crosses the goal. Here's a chance in the near post to Eiffel, and it's put behind by Silvestre for the corner. Easily Millwall's best moment of the match. 2 or or three passes put together more than anything. They got Sweeney into the game down the left-hand side, and when the cross came over, it was a bit of anxiety, actually, in Manchester United's defence for the first time. They scrambled it behind for Millwall's first corner.
This is the key for Millwall, what they do with set pieces. Right, it's taken by Sweeney, short, to Dennis Wise. Lots of Millwall players inside the penalty area. Forward to Sweeney again, to the left corner of the penalty. The cross is deep, and the punch was wide. Eiffel was onside. It's punched behind by Hard for a corner. Yeah. Linesman kept the flag down.
Well done, yes, he was, because Kyle had made the late run onto the back post, and Manchester United were just caught out there. Nice little clever corner, too. Short, played short. Sweeney put it over.
Is there anybody else over here apart from Dennis Wise? Not yet.
He won't rush, Alan. He won't rush.
Why should he? Why should he? It's Peter Sweeney, the 19-year-old, has come across to the right side this time, and Wise says, Sweeney, no, you just take it. Not short this time. So lots of blue shirts inside the United penalty area to our right. Sweeney's corner swung in there, and a pluck from the air by Hard, and Hard launches it out towards Ronaldo. That was a very important interception by Millwall. Now it's back with Ryan on the halfway line. Forward it goes, and here's Paul Eiffel approaching the United penalty area. Hope for a kind deflection. It does run to Harris. Better spell from Millwall. Maybe would have preferred me to start the commentary, because I hadn't got a look in before I come on. Let's get an update from Roddy at Hampden.
Well, it's still scoreless here as we approach the half hour. Dunfermline nil, Celtic nil. Celtic battering Dunfermline back on their own lines, and yet three fine chances falling to Dunfermline. Stevie Crawford should have done better with the last one, tried to chip it, didn't succeed. Dunfermline nil, Celtic nil, absorbing, rousing game.
Thanks, Roddy. Still 0-0 in Cardiff. Good header away by Lawrence. He seemed to be fouled by Van Nistelrooy, but Jeff Hunter wants to keep the game moving and allowed Millwall to have the advantage. By the way, I've been done up like a kipper, like Claridge, you know, just before kick-off. He sort of indicated to me, he says, you know, what do I think the scoreline is going to be? So, you know, foolishly, I said 3-0. So he writes down 2-0. He says, a tenner? You know, what am I supposed to do? Really stuff. Low ball into the Millwall penalty area, and then it's cleared by Livermore and Ryan. Good, careful defensive football. Ward finds Livermore again. Ryan still has it, close to the corner flag, and then his attempted clearance doesn't stay in play. It's trying to play for a throw-in.
Two central defenders, I think, have started well for Millwall. You know, they've done the job, Ward and Lawrence, and they've given a little bit of confidence, you know, to the other players. They've got to stand the ground, though.
Still 0-0. Fletcher with the low cross to the edge of the Millwall penalty area. Well intercepted by Matt Lawrence, taken up by Eiffel, running through the centre circle. You can see Millwall gaining confidence here now. They're prepared to commit many more players forward. I think Mike got it absolutely right. You know, Dennis Wise wanted to keep things 0-0 for 20 minutes and then gradually push forward. They are now. Cahill on the far side, but he miscontrols that, and it's out of play for a throw into Manchester United.
Yes. I thought, you know, that could have been the plan, you know. I would have thought, you know, it was pretty common a wrong football, you know, when you go somewhere, keep it tight for that first 20 minutes and then let's get the game started. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment.
The key chances have been Manchester United. Van Nistelrooy's header, the Scholes miss, and then the keen shot that was goal line, tipped over by Andy Marshall for a corner. Here's Ryan, the left full back from Millwall, the double into Livermore. Livermore just about finds Harris with a pass. He's going to have to work very hard throughout the game. Harris into Wise. Wide to the left and Harris again. It's a scoop pass forward. Eiffel jumps, heads it away from Sylvester, but that runs to O'Shea, and he finds Mikel Sylvester once more for Manchester United. 29 minutes played, 0-0 here in Cardiff. Giggs takes the ball up, and Giggs controls it, then runs towards the penalty. Low cross in, headed on by Van Nistelrooy. Ryan heads it dangerously back into the penalty area. Van Nistelrooy to Ronaldo, his shot into the side netting.
And a waste, and he knows it himself. He's put his head in his hands. When the ball came over there from the left-hand side, it was Giggs who made the initial one. He chipped the ball into the box. It was knocked up in the air by the left back, and I think what happened was, I think the sun actually got in his eyes for a moment. I think he lost sight of the ball. And it dropped down, Van Nistelrooy put it on, and there was Ronaldo coming in, and he just knocked it into the side netting. He'd all the time in the world.
He mishit it, Jimmy. No, he mishit it with his right foot.
He snatched at it.
We're always in the shadow here, no matter what sort of day it is, where our commentary position is, but those directly opposite the far side, there in the sunshine. I know you brought your wife Anne one cup final, and she was roasted. Almost got sunstroke over there. Well, we're in the shade, and it's actually a chilly afternoon here in Cardiff. Roy Keane, the United skipper, playing in his 6th FA Cup final. Only Lord Kinnaird has played played in more. 9 of the first 11. I don't think Roy's going to threaten 9. But it's quite a record anyway for the United skipper. He placed the ball forward, then it came back up for defender Ryan, and here's Livermore, who's certainly impressed me in this opening half an hour. Constantly involved in the play. Now, Lawrence hits it upfield, but that's well ahead of Eichel, and it's out of play for a throw-in.
Yes, they're just starting to push men a little bit more
back forward being pushed forward.
Just a little bit. They're just starting to move a little bit. They haven't got over anxious, don't worry. They're still going to keep this formation. If we get this to half-time, I think they'll be quite thrilled. The danger for Millwall can be at times when they get too many men forward in a position and then they get stretched.
Van Nistelrooy to Scholes, and Scholes on the Giggs. Giggs in a good position. Who's inside the penalty area for United? Answer nobody, but Giggs wins a corner. Well, he was appealing for a handball, I think, against Elliott. But we've got 2 United players down at the moment. One is Van Nistelrooy, or else he's certainly been scampering into the penalty area, anticipating Giggs' cross. I thought for a moment Gary Neville was down, but he's only down tying his bootlaces. Corner to United. 14 minutes to half-time. Ronaldo from the left. Hits it right-footed. Headed down by the defender. Running to Scholes, and Scholes flashes the shot high over the crossbar. There's been a wicket at Lord. Sorry, Jimmy. There's been a wicket at Lord's Pat.
It's an important one, Alan. The captain, Stephen Fleming, is out. Athletically caught at short leg by Nasser Hussain off the bowling of Harmison for 4. They're 7 for 1, New Zealand. They trail by 48.
Thanks very much, Pat. Pat Murphy at the first test between England and New Zealand at Lord's. It really is summertime. Goal kick to Millwall. Doing well. Holding Manchester United at the moment 0-0. And beginning to threaten themselves in an attacking sense. Marshall's clearance bounces once and goes straight out of play on the far side of the field. Do you get a feeling that I've had, Jimmy, that Ronaldo Park United aren't really clicking?
No, I thought there was a spell just about 10 minutes ago. They were just starting to push Millwall back, and I thought there's going to be a goal come out of this. But Millwall have held on well. And just a moment ago, Scholes has had a shot. We've seen him drive those in, haven't we? From the edge of the box. Skewed it, high and wide. Hasn't quite gone right for them yet. Millwall will be happy about this.
His earlier chance was better, Paul Scholes. There was a completeness. I'm not sure he made any contact with the ball. 10 yards out. Here's Ronaldo forward, and Ronaldo, he hits that shot closer to the corner flag than the goal. Steve Carriage is to my left, as Jimmy is to my right. Steve, do you see Millwall, taking a more adventurous style now?
No, I just see I just see it as a gradual build-up more than anything. I don't think they're going to throw caution to win. Certainly not with the game poised as it is. What they are doing is every time we mentioned the Paul Scholes incident now on the edge of the box, where he's such a great. There isn't a better striker of all coming onto it than Paul Scholes in that area. Sweeney has got across, he's dived in, and he's just put Paul Scholes up. And what they've got to do, that is what they must do every time Manchester United get the ball. If Manchester United open you up, you hold your hand up, you say, fine, we couldn't have done anything about that. Don't give anything away. Don't give a cheap goal away, whatever you do.
King's just given a free kick away for a clumsy challenge on Neil Harris. Somebody's come onto the pitch. Thank goodness it's not a streaker. Or maybe he hasn't time to get his clothes off yet. Why he's come onto the pitch, I do not know. Get off, you buffoon.
It's no good. The referee there, he's waving play on. You can't play on with 5 people on the pitch like that.
Jeff, will you wise up? Look, that was ridiculous. The free kick's been taken. There were 4 stewards and the offender, the pitch invader, still on the pitch. It's ridiculous. Here's Eiffel for Millwall, just on the right of the United penalty area. Gets the cross into the penalty area. It's headed down. Brown is there for United, and he shepherded it behind for a goal kick. What was that all about, Jimmy? Can you explain that?
I can't see the point of that. They're just on the edge of the penalty area, but there it is. Anyway, they're off now. And nice little header there. Nice little ball knocked in from Millwall. Just went beyond Sweeney on the back post. Just what it is, a little reminder to Manchester United. Give us half a chance and we'll snatch it.
That's the difference between you and me, Jimmy. So you let Jeff Winter off lightly. I plunged the dagger in.
I didn't have to, first of all. What did you do?
Manchester United 0, Millwall 0. A little over 10 minutes to half-time. O'Shea for United. To Giggs. Keane and Scholes to his right. Giggs is looking for Van Nistelrooy. But it's one off Van Nistelrooy. Ryan plays it to Lawrence. And you know something, Van Nistelrooy, apart from the header, has hardly had a significant...
And I think that's due to the 2 central defenders. I think they've really played well. Just a moment ago there, Lawrence had a little bit of it was an awkward pass back to his full-back, but he recovered, got the ball away. They stood well so far, these two.
It would be transformed, though, the game, if United were to score. Ronaldo doesn't find Giggs. Instead, it's Cahill to Harris. Now, Harris is midway inside his own half. He's the lone striker for Millwall, in the way they've lined up at the moment, anyway. Ryan, on to Sweeney in the far side. back to Robbie Ryan. Now Harris has made forward progress, and it's hit forward by Ryan towards Harris, headed away by Sylvester, and here's Fletcher, who's also gone quiet in the game. There are a number of United players who are basically missing from the action, from significant action. There's Fletcher challenging Sweeney, but it falls to Keane. Keane's header finds Gary Neville, and Gary Neville, well tackled by Cahill, and breaks off the Aussie. It's going to be, it breaks off Neville actually. It's going to be a throw in to Millwall. Cahill needs to be bursting forward more frequently, Jim, as a forward.
Well, that's his role.
He's the player that we've got to look to.
And I think they must be playing under instructions. Just to hold the game.
They're following them.
Just hold the game for the moment. Let's keep it the way things are going. We're quite happy. The anxiety will be creeping more into Manchester United as it goes on.
Well done, Eiffel. Took the ball, missed it. Then skipped away from O'Shea. Paul Eiffel approaching the United penalty area. Harris over the cross. There's a shot by Eiffel. It's blocked by the body of Sylvester, and it rebounds to Fletcher.
Yeah. There are two other players in the box there, Eiffel. I thought he just overran the ball.
It's just beginning to open up a little bit, the game now. Here's Scholes to Giggs, but Giggs passes it behind Ronaldo, and it goes out of play, and Ryan Giggs knows he was at fault.
He wasn't fault, but Ronaldo really didn't help him there. What he did, he should have checked out. What he did, he ran in towards defenders. He should have pulled himself out and made Millwall defenders run away, and then he can get the ball to his feet.
But Eiffel really skinned O'Shea there.
He did, but when he got it into the box, Alan, what happened was, I thought he lost his head. I think he went for glory. But there again, it's up to him. He makes the decision.
Throw into Manchester United with 8 minutes left in the first half. This is the World Service and 5 live on BBC Radio, and we await a goal at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. Manchester United 0-0 with Millwall. Fletcher flicks the ball through the centre circle, and it's collected by Gary Neville. Gary Neville hasn't got forward really in the game. And he gives the ball away there far too easily. Here's Lawrence for Millwall. Hit towards Elliott. The pass was overhit. Elliott just about keeps it in play. Hits it to the halfway line. Here's Sylvester finding O'Shea on the halfway line for Manchester United. Ronaldo's nearby. O'Shea ignores him, gives it to Fletcher. Fletcher almost caught a possession. There was a bit of danger for United, but his pass did find Roy Keane in the end. Keane to Gary Neville. Neville into Giggs once more. Pedestrian build-up from United. Then Giggs sprints forward with pace. Hit the ball off a defender. Rebounds to Fletcher, and Fletcher's got away there, has he? Fletcher tries to get the cross in. That is blocked in the end by Sweeney. It's going to be a corner.
Just keep finding the defender, Millwall. Sweeney's the lad there. Left side midfield player. Check back. Check Fletcher, who's made the overlap on the right-hand side. Corner to Manchester United. It'll be in swinger from Giggs.
Can you keep working this hard for 90 minutes, though? 7 minutes to half-time. Corner to the Premiership side. Giggs left-footed. Hits it in. Swirls goes a long way. Ronaldo didn't control it. It's out of the penalty area now. It's with Gary Neville. Everybody's deep inside the Millwall half. Neville to Keane. Keane crosses right-footed. Goes a long way. Is it a red shirt? No, it's a blue shirt that gets there first. Ward. And Ward hits it to the halfway line, but it's coming back Millwall's way. Gary Neville. Away to the far side. A goal at Hampden, Robbie.
Yes, indeed, and a goal for Dunfermline. A very confused situation. A Gary Dempsey corner kick. Crawford Haberman's Scarla header, which seemed to drop into the net despite the attentions of the goalkeeper and two other players. Scarla claiming the credit. It's against the odds. 9-1 against Dunfermline, and they're leading by a goal to nil with 5 minutes to half-time.
The underdogs ahead in the Scottish Cup final. The underdogs here holding Manchester United 0-0 in Cardiff. Cushioned header by Sylvester towards O'Shea, but it's out of Eiffel's right foot. It's going to be a throw-in to Manchester United. We've got 5.5 minutes to go to half-time. Throw-in taken by O'Shea to Sylvester, and Sylvester on his left foot. He'll slip the pass forward to O'Shea once more. Now it goes infield to Fletcher. Ronaldo's pulled away towards the edge of the penalty area, but Fletcher didn't get the ball his way. Here's Cahill coming forward, then he runs into Sylvester, and the ball's falling for Wes Bryant.
Yeah, so he's nowhere to go really, and that's the problem Millwall has. When he got to the halfway line, he's no supporting player, and Manchester United just pick it up again.
Keane, short of the halfway line, no longer as he moves over it into the Millwall half, and then a simple ball to Giggs, who pulled away from the defender. Giggs now about 30 yards out, tries to squeeze it into Scholes. It's taken up though by Dennis Wise. Wise to Harris, back to Cahill, and now Eiffel down this near touchline. The right, he's already beaten O'Shea easily once, but he didn't beat him on that occasion. Keane into Fletcher. A little injection of pace now by Manchester United towards half-time. 5 minutes until the interval. Ronaldo, easily their best player, cutting it from the right flank, but gives the ball away. Cahill, back to Dennis Wise. And now Elliott. And Elliott swirls the ball field. That's asking an awful lot of Harris. He's not going to get there. Sylvester easily there, 5 yards ahead of him, and it's back to Tim Hart, who hasn't had a save to make yet. Two in the line of 5 going in front of the line of 4 facing Manchester United. The Millwall players are not going to be drawn up. They're just holding the ground. They know how long there is to go to half-time. To Gary Neville, but the first time he's got forward, Gary Neville. There's the cross in towards Van Nistelrooy. Careful header away from the Dutchman. Here's Ronaldo into the penalty of the shot low. Blocked by the goalkeeper and cleared off the line by Darren Ward. Well, I've said how well he's played, Ward, but that was fantastic because it looked an absolute certain goal. When the ball got to Ronaldo, it came over the top and he was cutting in from the left-hand side. I thought it was in. Marshall got his hand to it. Van Nistelrooy behind him. Fantastic. Corner's already taken and headed away. Scholes picks it up. That shot was inches wide. More like Scholes. More like the Scholes we know. Edge of the D. Terrific shot just past the post. But just a moment ago, the first real moment, I thought it was in the back of the net. When Ronaldo came in and it got a little touch, Marshall got his hand to it. But full marks to Ward, who to me has been the outstanding player in this first half. And he got the ball away off the line. Great clearance. Manchester United 0, Millwall 0, 3 minutes to the interval. Andy Marshall with a goal kick. He did well actually to get anything on Ronaldo's shot. He did because he's actually got a deflection on the way in, and because he hasn't had that much to do really, Marshall, no matter what the pressure that's come on to Millwall, he hasn't had that many shots to save or crosses to go for, but he did well, he got his hand to it. It's interesting, Jimmy, I said that's the first time Gary Neville had really got forward. It is. And the cross led to something. Yes, and what's happening is every time he started to move, what happened? Sweeney's trailed him. So that's part of Dennis Wise's plan. That's why he hasn't got in the game quite as much. I would say from Neville's perspective, you can't afford to be held back by Sweeney, a 19-year-old. You've got to make him play deeper. Right? The referee given out. Manchester United thought there was a foul tackle on Fletcher. And they're asking questions of Jeff Winter. Corner it is, though. Taken already. Ronaldo. Left for Fletcher. Fletcher in to Giggs. Giggs to the left of the penalty. Now moving infield. Half anticipating a shot. Plays it to Keane. And here's Gary Neville into the penalty. Neville crosses. Is it Reader? Red shot. It is Ronaldo! And he hits it low past the left hand of Andy Marshall. And the Manchester United player this first half deservedly gets the first goal of the game. Ronaldo had put Manchester United into the lead. Just 2 minutes to the interval. And what can Millwall do from this situation? Well, I think really what happened there, they just ran out of players, because when the ball was switched to the right, Keane was the man who picked it up, and he played the ball to Gary Neville. And we were just saying a moment ago, every time he'd had the ball, Sweeney was there with him. He wasn't that time. And give Gary Neville time, he will pick out players. And he picked Ronaldo out. Ronaldo running in, 6 yards out with the header. Marshall had no chance of saving that. He was running in. He's got it right in the meat of the forehead, and the ball in the back of the net. And Manchester United have got that crucial goal. 2 minutes? Crucial it's before half-time. Well, it's twice in 2 minutes that Gary Neville has got forward and got a crucial cross in. There's a lesson there, surely. Steve Parrish is sitting to our left. Steve?
From what you can see, I mean, they've literally played 3 against 1 at the back, Manchester United. Unbelievable. They've been redundant. They've had 3 players who are totally redundant at the back. So you look forward and you're thinking that's why there's nobody who's actually spare.
What's going on here? Dennis Wise and Paul Scholes had their arms around each other, and it wasn't a loving embrace. But Jeff Winter didn't make too much of it. I think he went over there and said, "Get up, lads, and get on with the game." Manchester United in front. Giggs left his foot in there, and Dennis Wise, but Wise got the ball. And now here's Cahill into White, onto Eichel over the halfway line. Can Millwall respond? We're inside the final minute of the first half. Manchester United leading through Ronaldo's goal. His 6th of the season, his 2nd in the FA Cup. And if it's the winner, it will be the most important goal he's ever scored in his life. In his tender young life.
Now the Manchester United fans have come to life now behind the goal. I think they were getting a little bit anxious, to be honest.
Here's Harris. Playing it wide to Eichel, level with the edge of the United penalty here, and they want to throw it. And they will have to change their approach now in the second half. And that will obviously leave them rather more open to United's attacking play. Elliott to take the throw-in. We're into stoppage time. I didn't see the 4th official. Falls at the edge of the United penalty area, and now cleared. Maybe the 4th official hasn't come out yet. 1 minute of stoppage time, I'm told, has already been flashed. Now, Brian. He's had nothing to do, really, and Sylvester's the same. Gary Neville on to Ronaldo. Ronaldo sprinting down the right touchline as if he ever be anything less than full of confidence. He's tripped over it, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United.
Yes, we did say, earlier on, that the danger could come from the pace of Ronaldo and Giggs, and that's where the danger has come so far. Ronaldo picks the ball up there, and he's running straight towards the corner flag. He's tripped, so it's another free kick.
I think he's left a little of his flamboyance behind, and that's a good thing, Ronaldo. If he just tempers that approach, we know he can cross the ball. We know he can dribble, and also, of course, he can score. He scored the only goal. Now United, if they score a second, now the game's over. We're in the remaining seconds of stoppage time, and there's trouble again between Scholes and Wise inside the penalty area. Jeff Winter having words with both of them. Look at Wise. Again, they're embracing. Oh, Scholes goes down. So I tell you what, that could be a penalty.
Yes.
That could be a penalty.
Now,
Jeff not going to give it, of course.
No, he's going to have to sort this out, because what's happening is every time Scholes moves, Wise puts his arm around him. And
I love you to bits. Look at the scampy smile on the face of Dennis. Oh, he's also slapped him in the face and got away with that. This little slap.
Now, the important thing for Millwall here, Alan, is they don't give a second goal away before half-time.
Giggs with a free kick. Inches in from the far touchline. He's going to deliver it left-footed. Here it comes. Dinking in towards the far post and allowed to run out of play. And that is half-time, and Gary Neville comes forward in his customary way to have a go at the referee.
Manchester United on points. They've had their chances. Earlier on, we had a header from Van Nistelrooy. Scholes, I've seen him score when he miscued. And then there's clearance off the line by Ward from Ronaldo, and Ronaldo almost inevitably got the goal just crucially a couple of minutes before the break. Lovely overlap by Neville down the right. Manchester United, they've had much more of the possession. Millwall have defended well. The two central defenders extremely well. But there's going to have to be a change in the game plan somewhere for Millwall. Yes, I think they've got to try and put another striker up to support Harris. They've got to do it eventually. Whether they do it in the early part of the second half is entirely up to them. And the other thing is, too, you've got to have a little bit more adventure from the two full-backs.
Ronaldo's goal separates the teams. Manchester United 1, Millwall 0.
It's Russell Fuller with Sports World on the BBC World Service.
And I'm live at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, where I've been enjoying the first 45 minutes of the Cup final with Joe Jordan, striker of some repute for Leeds, Manchester United and Scotland. Joe, it looked for a while as if Dennis Wise had got it right tactically, even though Manchester United dominated the half.
He certainly did get it right. He made it very difficult for Manchester United. When you get 4 defenders and 5, and sometimes they had Harris back there as well, and they did defend, and he defended well. Moore was the prime example of that, where he had a goal line clearance, but eventually Manchester United constructed a little bit of space, got the throw back Neville in, and Ronaldo, who has had an exceptional game, he's done one or two terrific things. He's overdone it in 1 or 2 occasions, but I think we'll give him that because he has excited the crowd, and he deservedly got the goal. I think Manchester United, for the possession, and they did eventually, from that position, made 1 or 2 chances, and I think they are thoroughly deserved the 1-0 lead.
I mean, it did work for 44 minutes, and there was the possibility that Millwall would be going in at half-time on level terms. But can you really win the FA Cup by being that negative?
Yes, I think you can. When you look at your opposition, you realise how strong they are, and that is the case today. I think you have got to do it, but as it's already said in your commentary there, you've got to think about the other part of the game, which is getting forward. And I think when you have the situation when you have set pieces, I think you've got to do more than what maybe Millwall have done, and in Harris, where they have left up front on his own, that support's got to come a lot more and a lot quicker than it has done so far. And I think that Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins will continue the way that they have done, but I think they'll mention to the guys in the middle of the park to get a little bit more support to Harris. I think they'll continue like that for the first 5-10 minutes. Then if they don't see any light in the tunnel that way, then I think they might change the formation.
Okay, Joe, we'll get more of your thoughts on how you think the second half is going to unfold very shortly here on Sports World on the BBC World Service. It's the Manchester United fans that are going to enjoy the 15 minutes of half-time much better as they lead Millwall, who finished 10th in the First Division this season by 1-0 at the break. We'll bring you up to date with the test match at Lord's and the grid for tomorrow's Monaco Grand Prix here on Sports World after a bulletin of world news.
On the far side, just crosses the halfway line. O'Shea gets it up towards Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy turns and gives it back to O'Shea. O'Shea then seems to step on the ball, and it breaks to Eiffel, and here's the problem again. A big long one towards Harris, as we welcome back as well our well-serviced friends back to the commentary here. Harris was all on his own, and now United are coming forward through Fletcher, and nobody's managed to tackle him yet. Fletcher's going in the area. This could be a great goal. Hits it straight at Marshall. Jimmy Armpit.
Great run, bad finish. What he did, he took the ball, to his left foot. He got into the penalty area, he actually got to the 6-yard area, always going away from the goal though, and then he tried to flick it in with his right foot. He wanted a left foot pullback. Van Nistelrooy's body language there, to express the feeling. He was absolutely disgusted with him. And great run from Fletcher, but a poor finish.
Millwall have got to plug this gap in the middle area particularly. They've got to start looking to people like Cahill and Eiffel to start to charge forward a little more to help Harris. There's a good ball from Scholes, now finds Giggs. Giggs, I didn't think, was at his very best in the first half, and now Ronaldo down the United right in the shadow of the stand, and then Ronaldo put it into the area looking for someone to make a run. Struggling to clear at the moment in Millwall, and now Sweeney running right across the field. Sweeney may get caught in possession here by Ronaldo if he's not careful. Millwall now with Cahill, but very deep back inside his own half. Then a foul by Van Nistelrooy on young Marvin Elliott, and that gives Millwall the free kick. Millwall actually began this game very well in the first couple of minutes. Good confidence, composure. United, without ever getting into top gear, eased their way back into it. All the goal-scoring opportunities came for Manchester United before the break. Nothing really for Millwall. And now a free kick for Millwall to be taken by goalkeeper Andy Marshall. There are a couple of United substitutes already warming up behind the goal away to our right. Long kick downfield, looking for Ward, who'd gone forward, the centre-back. United struggling to clear, and then it's Wes Brown who gets it out of trouble. Ball drops to Elliott, and Elliott gets it in quickly, but can't clear the first defender, who was Silvestri. And now Roy Keane, who almost scored in the first half. It was certainly on target, and Marshall had to make a brilliant save. Gary Neville, who set up the goal for Ronaldo, a header from 6 yards out. Thought about coming towards us down this near side, plays it instead to his captain Keane, and now Scholes onto Giggs, who's in the centre, and we'll have to watch as well the battle between Scholes and Wise as it develops. And interestingly then, I didn't like to see that was a foul by Wise on Giggs, but guess what happened? Scholes went straight to the referee, demanding action and demanding what I think we're going to get here, the first yellow card of the FA Cup final. And what would the odds have been on this, I wonder? The first caution of the game, Dennis Wise.
Well, he's been called for foot up there, and he's gone across to Giggs and said, I'm very sorry. There it is, the words from the wise man. Anyway, I think, looking at it, I thought, people ask what they might they do in the second half, and one of the things I think they should do, really, is try and get Cahill, more in support of Harris. And they can still play, a sort of 1-1-4-4, they can still play it that way. But somebody's got to try, if possible, I think, in Millwall's ranks, to just block that central area where they're getting caught continually.
Well, Giggs is receiving lengthy attention, but he'll be okay.
He's all right.
Wise has been sent off 13 times, by the way, in his career. We haven't had anyone sent off in the cup final since Kevin Moran.
Yes.
85, nearly 20 years ago. Free kick to Manchester United, and it'll be taken by Silvestri, playing in his first FA Cup final, the French centre-back. And taking plenty of time over this. Ryan Giggs will have to leave the field for a moment, this stupid rule, of course. Then he'll be allowed back on again. Silvestri takes the kick and hits it with pace towards Ronaldo. Ronaldo on the chest. Infield to Gary Neville, doesn't find him. Livermore now trying to break, and Livermore now, as Gary Neville tries to get back into position, finds Harris, and he doesn't control it first time. His first touch let him down there, Harris, and he'll have to do better than that, Jim.
He will, but it is, they're asking him to do the impossible, I think. They're running across the field, chasing, the balls over the top. So when the ball comes, he's a bit of fatigue in his game. And I think that's what caused him to lose control of that. Fatigue, it cuts down your technical expertise.
Millwall giving Giggs a bit of space there initially, and now Roy Keane comes into the movement and finds Gary Neville halfway inside the Millwall half. United just knocking it around slowly, keeping possession, all the Millwall players back inside their own half, and now it's Ronaldo once more. Van Nistelrooy's waiting inside the area, so too are Scholes and Giggs. A few step-overs from Ronaldo, then he goes round the outside, in comes the cross, headed away by Ward. It'll drop to Gary Neville, who doesn't get hold of it at all with his left foot. sends it towards the United fans away to our right.
But making that goal in the first half has given Gary Neville that little bit of confidence to stride forward. Nice little bit of trickery again by Ronaldo. Ball knocked in, cleared by Millwall out to Gary Neville, hit it with his left foot, and he skewed it past the post. I still think that, Millwall are going to have to think, probably in the next 10 or 15 minutes, what they're going to do to look for a support player to Harris.
This is the cup final of 2004 on 5 Live and World Service. And Paul Scholes now for Manchester United, but it's broken back to Millwall. And Harris now tries to find Ifill, but he can't take it past O'Shea. Irishman doing well there at left back, and that's gone out of play. The last 2 years, only one side has scored in the cup final. Arsenal winning it on both occasions, of course. And now Manchester United with a big, long clearance towards Van Nistelrooy, going up with 2 Millwall players. And when the ball hits the deck, Darren Ward is there, and back again to Roddy Forsyth at the Scottish Cup final, Hampden Park.
10 minutes after half-time, and what Billy McNeil sitting beside me called a blitzkrieg of pressure, culminating in a sequence of corners had Dunfermline on the ropes, but they've come out of that, they've survived that little spell, they're attacking even as we speak, and at the moment the score, let me just repeat it, it is an extraordinary scoreline. Dunfermline 1, Celtic 0.
Thank you very much, Roddy Forsyth in Scotland. Here in Wales in the cup final, Manchester United lead by 1-0 and Millwall have to score. They'll must not concede a second here. Roy Keane stumbles and then retrieves his balance and finds Gary Neville on his right-hand side. Again, in this second half, mostly Manchester United possession, but of course you would expect that. Gary Neville, but Millwall at the moment not threatening to cut through at all. The ball is with O'Shea over on the Manchester United left. He crosses the halfway line and again takes all the Millwall players back inside their own half. It's now Ryan Giggs down the left, combining with O'Shea. Challenges coming in from Millwall, but they haven't managed to dispossess O'Shea. O'Shea cuts it back to Fletcher on the edge of the area. Fletcher, and now Keane, and now Scholes. Scholes shoots, saved by Marshall, and cleared by Lawrence. Corner kick.
Terrific play that by Manchester United. That was much more like lovely play from Keane, really. Set up Scholes, good shot from the edge of the box, good save by Marshall, but it came out. Lawrence was the man that was alert because Van Nistelrooy was looking for it, looking for any drop there. Done well, Lawrence. He's played well. That was a good clearance.
Scholes scored in the last cup final for Manchester United 5 years ago. It's a corner kick to Manchester United, leading here by 1-0. Corner kick down this near side, the right, and headed over by Ronaldo. That would have been too much, surely, to have had 2 Ronaldo-headed goals in the final. Goal kick for Marshall.
Yeah, the big thing there really was that, he climbed in amongst a few defenders, as we say in football, prepared to get his eyes cut, and he got up there, got the header over the top.
As long as it stays like this, though, as long as it stays like this scoreline-wise, anything is still possible for those Millwall fans in their blue and white away to our left. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC World Service. Now, can Millwall find something? Again, Harris is an isolated figure up against Wes Brown. The ball bouncing awkwardly for the two of them. And back again to the Scottish Cup final and Roddy Forsyth.
And it's 1 each. The man who scored, Henrik Larsson, Celtic's equaliser, and this is a carbon copy of the game between these sides 3 weeks ago. Dunfermline leading at half-time. Shortly after the interval in that game, as in this game, Henrik Larsson, the scorer of the equaliser, he took advantage of a slip by Aaron LeBon, stepped in. You simply don't give him that kind of room, and he lashed the ball into the net for goal number 241 for Celtic. It's 1 each between Dunfermline and Celtic.
Thank you, Roddy. At some point, of course, soon Ray Wilkins may consider a new face in the Millwall side as the ball drops to Ifill over on the far side. O'Shea's doing very well at the start of the second half, closing down there immediately on Ifill. Millwall, though, getting great encouragement. The two sides at the moment attacking the ends where their fans are. It's a throw for Millwall, and it'll be taken by young Marvin Elliott. Here's an opportunity to get the ball in the penalty area, and there are 2 Millwall players there. They don't find Cahill, though, and volleyed away by Roy Keane. Wise picks it up, tries to find down that right-hand side Elliott. Fletcher's got his back to goal, can't give it back to goalkeeper Howard either. Howard's not been tested at all really in this final, and it's out of play for a Manchester United try.
Yeah, there's only been one real anxious moment. I was just looking at the goal attempts. Manchester United 14, Millwall 1 so far, and I struggle to think what it was, but Millwall every so often just threaten they might do something, then it fizzles out. It just fizzled out again there down the right-hand side. Ifill just couldn't provide the phenomenon.
Certainly if they get free kicks and corners in this second half, Millwall will have to try and make the most of them. Celtic 1, Dunfermline 1, Manchester United 1, Millwall 0. Long ball by Scholes, looking for Van Nistelrooy. Lawrence is there. Lawrence and Ward have done well together at the heart of the Millwall defence, and now it's Martin Elliott bringing it out and finding Tim Cahill. Eiffel had made a run, and now eventually Cahill finds him. Back again to Cahill, who's had to sit quite deep, and that's not really his game in this final. Elliott now dragging the ball back to his manager Wise on the halfway line. Millwall can't go forward to keep possession as the sun breaks through. They hit it a long way back inside their own half, and Darren Ward once more. Ward to Livermore, short of the halfway line. Sweeney hasn't had very much possession down this left-hand side. Hasn't been much of a threat, Sweeney. Millwall still have the ball on the edge of their own area, and now Lawrence, the captain, shuffles forward. Eiffel says, I'll have it, down that right. Here's a chance to commit a few players forward. Cahill now has gone forward. Eiffel cutting in from that far touchline. Harris trying to stay onside. Goes to Cahill, but it's gone back again. Into the space will come Elliott. Now he's got blue shirts waiting. Need to get a good cross in here. And it's Dennis Wise with it, looking for Eiffel. Out comes Howard. But suddenly that's better from Millwall.
Yes, he was a bit anxious to get the ball in there wide. I thought he had a little more time than he had. Howard just came and snapped it up.
But Manchester United will like that, because as Millwall commit players forward, United can counter-attack, and Ryan Giggs there was almost through. He's looking for a free kick. In fact, he's still deep in conversation with Jeff Winter. Winter's walked away from him, though, and it's going to be a throw to Manchester United. But the more the game opens up like that, United's chances of scoring a second will increase. It's Wes Brown now on the edge of the centre circle. 1-0 to Manchester United. Neville to Ronaldo. Ronaldo hasn't seen quite as much of the ball in this second half, which is already 12 minutes old. Now he's got the ball at his feet, Ronaldo. One more goal, surely that will be enough for Manchester United. Ronaldo finds Keane, and he was caught late, and even though United have the possession, Jeff Winter has given the free kick to them and stopped the game.
Yeah, he invites the challenge sometimes, Ronaldo. He just plays that ball a little bit too far ahead, and he's got his own pace, and he's a lot quicker than other players, and sometimes he just invites that challenge that comes late. It did there. Anyway, Giggs is going to take this free kick about 15 yards outside the box.
This is the cup final, 1-0 to Manchester United. Giggs to the right of the ball, Scholes to the left. Giggs, in his home city of Cardiff, is no more than a couple of yards away from the ball. Scholes now trots up, and it's Scholes who plays it wide to Ronaldo. O'Shea and Van Nistelrooy in the area. Ronaldo has to settle for a corner kick. Corner kick to Manchester United down this near side.
Yeah, intelligent play by Scholes. They haven't had a lot of joy, really. Ball's knocked high all the time. In saying that, they got the goal off a cross, but he played the ball wide to Ronaldo. That's where, obviously, Manchester United see the threat coming down wide.
Giggs yet to take the corner. Van Nistelrooy trying to shake off his marker. Wes Brown makes a late run towards the edge of the area. In goes the corner kick for Manchester United, and it'll drop to Wes Brown. Brown got his shot in, it was blocked by Sweeney. Still Brown in the sunshine down the far side, and now Millwall looking to Cahill to clear. Cahill almost caught in possession by Van Nistelrooy. Millwall having problems clearing here. Now they can, and here's the former Millwall striker who's with us today, Steve Claridge.
Yes, it's okay. He'll be happy with this, Wisey. I think they've just settled down again. I mean, I think he's a little bit wary of how the goal would have affected them, but settled back into the pattern. They do need to show a greater appetite to get men forward. They don't even need to change the shape of the side. I would say just give Timmy Cahill a little bit more licence to get forward, that's all.
1 hour gone, more United pressure coming in. Keane, the captain, drifts the ball in, headed away not too well by Millwall, drops to Ronaldo, and players waiting in the area for this one. Ronaldo looking for Van Nistelrooy, but the cross is straight at Marshall. There's nothing on, though, for Marshall at all. Only Eiffel was in any kind of forward position, and now that they're getting back their shape again, Marshall prepares to clear. Nicky Butt is warming up away to our right. Long ball from Marshall into the Manchester United half. It's been met by Silvestre, and then it drops to Fletcher, and a beautiful turn from Fletcher, but he can't pick out Scholes. Wise goes in. Scholes goes in against Wise, and it's with Millwall, and all their supporters rise over on the far side, anticipating Eiffel. Can he get round John O'Shea? He's having real problems against the tall left back. O'Shea once more emerging with the ball, getting the better of Eiffel.
Yeah, Eiffel's had a lot of possession, but I feel, he's not done a great deal with it. He's not had a lot of joy against O'Shea, and he lost out again there.
1-0 to Manchester United, and here's the goal scorer, Ronaldo. Van Nistelrooy ahead of him. Ronaldo trying to play a 1-2 off the fullback Ryan. He's chasing Ryan towards the corner flag, and Ryan runs into the corner flag. And the linesman's given the corner, I think, near side the right. It's just out of our sight here. Manchester United relentlessly going forward and looking for what would be a decisive second. Can't see Millwall pulling two back. Here comes the corner kick now from Ronaldo. In it goes towards the far post, headed back by Silvestri, headed off the line! And another clearance, an appeal by Van Nistelrooy for something. Millwall almost conceding a second. And the whistle's gone because a Manchester United player is lying almost on the goal line.
I think it was Brown. Was it Brown?
It's Wes Brown, you're absolutely right, you think.
What happened was the ball dropped, Marshall went for the ball, it was Silvestri who knocked it back across the goal, it was under the goal line, and Ryan was the man who volleyed the ball away, definitely. He was the man on the goal line, he volleyed it away, and Wes Brown very bravely sort of threw himself at the ball, and he's obviously got a boot on the top of his head now, just about it to annoy him.
Oh, he's got a cut, and the thing is, Van Nistelrooy, I reckon, was appealing, because he thought there was even a suggestion that it might have crossed the line when it was headed away, but he had a good look at it, and it wasn't.
No,
it was not over the line. It was Ryan who got a that's the second offline clearance by Millwall. Wes Brown's got a cut on the head, so he'll have to go off and have that sorted out.
It wasn't on in full of the face, and it was on the top of his head, after he was a bit unlucky really, he went into the boot as much as anything else, so it's a drop ball.
And Millwall should give this back to Manchester United, because the game stopped so that Brown could receive it, and they haven't at all. But at the moment, Manchester United are down to 10 men as Keane seems to pull Livermore's shirt. And then Ronaldo stepped in because Sweeney was far too slow anticipating that. Wes Brown's off the pitch. Van Nistelrooy tackled by Ward. Ball drops to Roy Keane. Keane's ball in, looking for Giggs. Giggs is beaten in the air by Elliott. And now Eiffel trying to go round O'Shea once more. Going the long way round. Back comes O'Shea. Eiffel needs support here. And they're all running away from him. It's with Cahill and Wise, and Cahill's been unable to put in any of those penetrating runs that he plays, of course, in the first division. But now Millwall have possibilities, with Brown still off the pitch. No, he's not. He's back on again. He's sneaked back on again as Eiffel hits a long one down the right-hand side to Cahill. There's only Harris in the area, and it goes towards Harris, and Howard's there with a tumbling save above Neil Harris. Howard with a really good throw out was then caught by Harris, he's wasting his own time really, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, from Harris's point of view, pure frustration as much as anything else. The ball got out wide, it was knocked into the box, and really it was too high. The goalkeeper's always favourite on the high ball like that, dropping down. Poor Harris, he's had to do a lot of work today with very little support.
You're listening to the Cup Final on 5 Live and BBC World Service. It's Celtic 1, Dunfermline 1. Dunfermline did take the lead, Larsson's equalised. Now Ronaldo, the Manchester United goal scorer. They're looking for the second to really finish this one off here. Gary Neville just inside the Millwall half. Giggs comes across to the right for the first time in this second half. Up against Ryan, going past Ryan in the area. Giggs in full flow, brought down penalty. Brought down by Livermore from behind. And this could be the decisive moment here. This will be Ruud van Nistelrooy in his first FA Cup final with a chance to put the game beyond at Millwall. A penalty.
Yes, first FA Cup final. It could be his last. You never know.
Well,
but anyway, but the thing is...
Speculation about Van Nistelrooy's future, of course, even though it's been denied. Ronaldo has a little word with Van Nistelrooy, prolific marksman, normally deadly in these situations. Van Nistelrooy in the cup final. Can Andy Marshall be a hero in the Millwall goal? A goal now, and surely that will be enough for Manchester United. Van Nistelrooy composes himself and scores high into the roof of the net, runs towards the United fans, away to the right. Overall, a season of disappointment for Manchester United could be ending with a big trophy here in Cardiff. It's Manchester United 2, Millwall 0.
Yes, Van Nistelrooy couldn't get to that ball fast enough then, but Giggs was the man who made it, and I thought they've always been a bit vulnerable down this left-hand side, Millwall, and Giggs coming in from the right, and he had just too much pace really for anything, and he was pulled down. I don't think Jeff Winter had any doubt about the penalty. I don't think anybody else had as well. Livermore's challenge put him down, and I watched Van Nistelrooy. He ran after the ball, picked it up, and he slammed the ball into the roof of the net. Marshall had no chance of saving.
So Jeff Winter, in his last game, gives a penalty. It was the first penalty, by the way, in a cup final since Eric Cantona 10 years ago for Manchester United against Chelsea. He got a couple, of course, at Wembley. The first penalty in a cup final at the Millennium Stadium here in Cardiff, and surely now that is going to be beyond Millwall, who've shown very little goal threat. They have to rethink it now if they're going to get anything back here. Gary Neville up against Sweeney, who's been very anonymous down this left-hand side. Innocuous figure, really, for Millwall. It hasn't been involved. The game has passed him by. Van Nistelrooy, having scored, is still looking for more here. As we move towards the halfway point of the second half, it's Harris for Millwall. Cahill joining in, and now Sweeney. We've really not seen very much of that left foot, and he's a bit ponderous there. Scholes is too steely for him, and it's out of play for Millwall.
You know, just before the goal, Mike, I was waiting to say really, I thought time had come really for Millwall to try and make a change, because I thought they were going back and playing back and back, you know, and eventually something happens, because, you know, Manchester United have a lot of artillery to come at you, and eventually will find a route through. And I've always felt the pace, as you know, I said earlier, of Giggs and Ronaldo, you know, coming on the flanks, was always going to be a problem, and it has been.
It's a great day for Millwall, but you have to say the scoreline reflects the balance of play here. Manchester United 2, Millwall 0. United looking for a third, and Millwall once more having to retreat. Ryan against Ronaldo, and it's out of play, and it's going to be a Manchester United corner, and it's reminding me very much of the last final between a team outside the top flight, Liverpool and Sunderland in '92, when that was a 2-0 win, and very straightforward for Liverpool. Almost the halfway mark of the second half. 1-1 between Celtic and Dunfermline. 5 Live and World Service. Roy Keane could be getting, and surely will be getting, his hands on the FA Cup in around about half an hour from now. Keane, back to Gary Neville. United playing possession football, and here's Alan Green.
Yes, I'm reminded of 1992 as well, Mike. The game was over when you handed it to me, the commentary. I think this is over now. It's a question of whether or not Manchester United fancy more goals. And there's just been enough needle between the teams over the last 10, 15 minutes, Jimmy, to suggest to me that United will search for further goals. Van Nistelrooy scored the latest one. Doesn't get his head to that cross, but it breaks to Giggs. Giggs towards Keane. Keane into the penalty area. Keane pulls it back. Scholes is there. Brilliant block by Wise. Ball rebounds to Fletcher. And United are heading Millwall back now. 22 minutes to go. There's been a goal at Hampden, Roddy.
And it's a goal for Celtic, and almost needless to say, it's a goal for Henrik Larsson. 20 minutes remaining. Thompson picks him out. Aaron LeBond, who's having a nightmare of a game against Larsson, couldn't hold the Swede at bay. Larsson turning the ball in almost as a carbon copy of his first game. Dunfermline 1, Celtic 2.
I think Roddy must have hit Billy McNeil with his microphone there. Ronaldo with the corner. Played back and short to Gary Neville. Gary Neville onto Ronaldo, unmarked down the right side. Ronaldo crosses right footed. Oh, Van Nistelrooy with a header over the crossbar.
Well, you'll be able to tell by the commentary now that it's a bit one-sided, and Millwall just can't get out of their own, you know, back area, and they're going to have to try something. And they've really got to get support. I've said this for about 20 minutes now. They've got to get more support really to Harris, but I think, you know, there comes a time in every match where something has to be done, and I think it's about now.
I think it's already too late, Jimmy. They played well, Millwall, within their limitations. They just haven't carried any threat towards that Manchester United goal. There was an eyeful effort on the near post that was actually cleared away by Sylvester. I can't think of anything else. And Tim Hart has not had a save to make. In fact, he's hardly had a cross to collect. Here's Fletcher inside the centre circle. To Gary Neville, and Gary Neville breaks over the halfway line. Ronaldo to his right. I think Ronaldo will be getting man of the match. A persistent threat throughout the game, the young Portuguese. Now back to Gary Neville and Wes Brown. The Millwall fans relatively silent, and the United supporters to our right, largely to our right, exultant. Fletcher now, midway inside the Millwall half. Back to Gary Neville. Scholes shows. Scholes gets, and then Scholes passes poorly. It doesn't reach Giggs. It's clear. Here's Harris, having to defend now in his own half. To Eiffel on the far side. And as Millwall have possession, only Harris is inside the United half. And now he's actually moved back over the halfway line. Elliott looking for the run of Eiffel. Brown heads the ball away. And O'Shea for Manchester United. To Ryan Giggs on the far side.
Millwall just chasing round a bit at the moment. Just can't really get any possession at all.
Mike also mentioned that United-Chelsea final in 1994, 10 years ago, when Cantona scored 2 penalties. Of course, Wise was in the beaten Chelsea team that day. Here's Neville for Manchester United to Ronaldo, who's definitely got a showboat in the remaining minutes, but he can't keep that ball in play, and it's going to be a throw into Millwall. We've got less than 20 to go.
Pace really is. It's the pace, that's causing Millwall the problems. It's one thing. That's one of the step-ups, of course, from First Division to Premiership, and it's the pace of Manchester United that really has brought them, 2 goals behind, and it's going to take a lot of pegging back now. The way this game's going, you can't see it.
Not a great clearance from Ward, hit over his right back, Elliott, for a throw into Manchester United, which is taken by Giggs to John O'Shea. Scholes comes, takes up possession, onto Giggs, onto O'Shea again, edge of the penalty. O'Shea didn't control the pass, and it's with Dennis Wise for Millwall. Wise to Elliott, his young fullback. And back it goes to Cahill, who frankly has been a little bit of a disappointment to me. He just hasn't shown anything going forward, and that's what needs to happen for Millwall. And they need to make a change. They're going to make a change, Jimmy.
Yes.
I don't know yet who they're going to bring on, but it will be a change. And we've got a little over 18 minutes to go here on 5 Live in the World Service on the BBC. The 123rd FA Cup final. Manchester United leading by 2 goals to 1. It'll be Cogan and McCammon coming into the game. And here's Giggs up to the left edge of the Millwall penalty area. Brings the ball down. Elliott close by. Giggs slides it infield towards Fletcher. Fletcher thinks about the cross. Instead it's back to Keane. Gary Neville now. And Neville 25 yards out. Crosses right-footed. The header on by Ronaldo, wide of goal.
Yes, and what happens is now, that Manchester United are playing the ball around basically to Millwall's half. And Millwall are all sort of going back into their own penalty area, so it's giving people like Fletcher and Keane a pile of room. And Gary Neville's allowed to come forward, put the ball in. Ronaldo tried with the header, but it was off target.
Now, Dennis Wise has gone across to the far touchline to talk to Ray Wilkins. I don't know whether it's a question of Wilkins saying to Wise, I'm making these changes, or Wilkins saying to Wise, I'm proposing to make these changes. And Dennis confirming or otherwise. As Steve Crouch was saying, you can't do both roles once you're out there. You've got to just get on with play. Well, there will be at least one change coming up from Millwall. Too late, perhaps. Manchester United 2-0 up here. The ball's inside the centre circle. Eiffel almost trips as he collected possession. In fact, Eiffel's hurt himself now. He's limping. Ball is back with Andy Marshall. Couldn't do anything with either of the goals. And now Ward. On to Dennis Wise. Wise's fitness was in question, but goodness, he's lasted 73 minutes so far. Now Eiffel on the far side. On to Harris. It was a poor pass, and Harris can't have the legs after all the work he's done to make anything of that sort of ball.
He's been very game, hasn't he? He's run everywhere, but he's not had any really success at all. He just can't get himself into the match.
Fletcher to Gary Neville on the halfway line towards this near side, the Manchester United right. Fletcher to Ronaldo. Giggs is free down the left side. Left for Scholes instead, though. Gary Neville with a great break forward, and he's just offside. Scholes, if he'd played the ball first time, Neville would have been clean through.
They couldn't have been very much in that either. And Millwall looking a little bit tired, I felt there, when the ball was being played around. There's nothing more disconcerting when you're behind to see the other team pass the ball around, and you've just got to keep moving. Anyway, Ryan's going off.
Yeah, Ryan's coming on, and Cogan comes on for Ryan. Danny Cogan, or Barry Cogan rather, is coming on for Robbie Ryan. That may well be the last time we see Robbie Ryan in a Millwall jersey.
Yes, he hasn't found it easy today down this left side.
Well, Harris is being replaced by McCammon, and that's basically like for like. It's not adding to Harris. Steve Eiffel's going to push forward, according to Steve. Well, he ain't got much opportunity now of doing anything else.
Well, Harris has got to go for it. Harris is gone. Yes.
And instruction from Dennis Wise to a variety of his players. Eiffel certainly is pushed forward towards McCammon. And as they take this free kick, Ward's come up from defence. We've got a little over 15 minutes to go. United leading Millwall by 2 goals to 0. The free kick headed away by Keane. He was also fouled by Ward. And as a result, it's a free kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, so Livermore's gone to left full back. So that's obviously something they've done before. Well, it'll be interesting to see now what this young lad can do. McCammon, a big lad.
Meantime, those in red have possession. Roy Keane, robbed by McCammon. Keane rarely dilly-dallying, but McCammon gives the ball away. And then that was a handball by O'Shea as he slipped. And got to be, yes. Initially, I think he played the advantage, Jeff Winter, but it didn't go Millwall's way, so he had to give the free kick for the handball.
That's a yellow card, isn't it?
Well, it should be.
Deliberate
Quite
handball.
deliberate handball.
He deliberately handled the ball, O'Shea, there.
Free kick is taken and played to the right side, up to the edge of the penalty area. But Cogan doesn't get the cross in. Giggs to Keane. Scholes. Giggs once more on the far side. Only Van Nistelrooy is inside the Millwall half at the moment. You know, United, when they're having to defend, they defend in strength. It's how quickly they counter-attack that really kills you. Fletcher now to the right side, and Ronaldo. Ronaldo now. Left for Gary Neville. Fletcher once more. Scholes available. Scholes takes it. Back to Fletcher. The pace has gone out of the game at the moment. It's as if United are happy with what they've got. They lead by 2-0. Ronaldo with a header in the first half. 2 minutes before half-time. And then a penalty kick from Van Nistelrooy after Giggs had been brought down. Fletcher. Back towards O'Shea. O'Shea let it run, but McCann's not going to get there before Keane. A misunderstanding there. Fletcher and O'Shea glare at each other, and it's cleared upfield by Howard. Headed clear by Lawrence. And Fletcher just scoops the ball back in the direction of his goalkeeper. Tim Howard has seen so little on the ball. That's a poor clearance by him. Fortunately for him, it runs to Bryan. They find Silvestre. And now Keane, O'Shea. And Millwall are having to do so much chasing, Jimmy.
That's right. They lose it. And so all the time, McCann is the man he's doing all the chasing that Harris did. Harris has run himself out and gone off. And Paul Eiffel has gone up front with him, so they've got sort of 4-4-2 now.
Neville to Van Nistelrooy, who, he claims he was fouled. I'm not sure he was fouled. Initially, he held his left leg, and then he held his right leg. And I'm told that Roy Keane has a cut on his head. I don't know what from. Well, Van Nistelrooy actually, to be fair, was caught there by guess who? Dennis Wise. He was caught in the left leg. And we're going to throw it in the far side of the field. What's going on here, folks? Why have we all settled down?
Can we get on with a drink?
Can we not get on with the game?
Well, Alex holding the ball. He's going to give it him back in.
No, you can't take it, Alex. Sit down. O'Shea with the throw. All the urgency's out of the match now. It's exactly like 1992. Game's over. So we just present the cup now.
Well, it's up to them now, Millwall. They've really just got to go for it, whatever they've got left in the legs, really. They've really just got to push forward and really go for it. Cahill, in my opinion, has got to get himself among front players, take a chance, he'll lose another one, well of it.
Here's Giggs on the far side. Initially, I think the referee indicated it was going to be a throw into Millwall, but instead it's gone to Manchester United. And little words between Elliott and Giggs there.
Yeah, and Alex Ferg's he's actually screaming at Manchester United. He's got off the bench now, and what he's trying to do, he's trying to G them up, for this last period of the match.
Well, they've got into second gear.
Yes, and he's going to demand off them now.
Is there any chance, Steve Claridge, that Millwall are going to get back into this?
No, absolutely no chance at all.
No, sorry to say.
What I've got to say is that, I've seen them play. There's one or two players here that I feel possibly might leave the game and say, I could have done a fraction better for Millwall. The likes of Timmy Cow, I think he needs a licence to get forward. He's a much better, I can assure you, he's a fantastic player. I think he can play in the Premiership. He's a much better player than we've seen today, and I hope he gets his chance. The thing is, sometimes you're as good as other team allow you to play, of course. Yeah, but the thing is, I think you're right, and I think with Cahill, who I've seen a couple of times, he can play, and I thought he might be the one player, just might inject something. And frankly, as an attacking player, he's hardly been in the game. It's been restricted, hasn't he? Totally restricted,
yeah.
The shape and the way that they've played has restricted his game and probably affected it more so than any other player in their side.
10 minutes to go. Manchester United 2, Millwall 0. Goals from Ronaldo and Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy, a penalty. Gary Neville hits it towards Van Nistelrooy. Good header away by Ward. Actually, Van Nistelrooy generally has been quiet. Someone said to me at half-time, someone from that sort of Manchester United camp said that he had the bearing, the body language of a player who's on his way out of Old Trafford. Another goal in the Scottish Cup final, running for side.
So they're now because Stilian Petrov has made it Dunfermline 1, Celtic 3. Brave Dunfermline, the fight now surely knocked out of them. Petrov taking the ball from Wallace, who got it from Agad, fed it across the box. Petrov stepped forward, there was never any doubt where the ball was going to end up when he got the space. It's Dunfermline 1, Celtic 3.
And just confirmation that the FA Cup final has been won by Manchester United while we were away at Hampden Park. Giggs with a run into the penalty area, the low cross, converted easily by Van Nistelrooy. I just glanced to the linesman to see if the Dutchman was offside. The flag stayed down, and it's Manchester United 3, Millwall 0.
Yes, Giggs has absolutely destroyed Millwall really in this second half. It was his run that brought the penalty. And he's coming from the left-hand side there. Too much pace again for Millwall's defence. And he's driven it across past Marshall and Van Nistelrooy, practically under the bar, and just ran it into the goal more than anything else. And that really has finished it. As we thought it was finished before, but it certainly has now. Giggs, I did say earlier, I do believe it, that too much pace down the flanks altogether.
Here's McCammon up inside the United penalty area, but well marshalled by Wes Bryant, and Bryant forced to go to the far touchline, and he gives the ball away. Cogan with a cross into the box. Gary Neville somehow slices the clearance away from the danger area. When Van Nistelrooy scored that third goal, there was an exclamation from my left, and that was because at the moment Carriage owes me a tenner. Now there's a free kick for a foul by Ronaldo, about 30 yards out.
Bass, and well, it's an opportunity here for Millwall. Let's see how eager they are to take this. And well, it's within striking distance. It's within striking distance. 5 or 6 metres outside the box.
Yeah, well, it's not as close as Millwall want it to be. Jeff Winter determined that it should go further back. Now, Dennis Wise is there. So too is Eiffel and Sweeney. Is it going to be teed up for Eiffel? You think so? Wise has moved much closer to the ball now. They're 3-0 down in the 2004 FA Cup final. Manchester United out of sight. Is there a consolation goal, though, for the First Division team? It's teed up by Wise for Eiffel. Eiffel's shot blocked by Scholes. And what's the referee given now? Well, he seems to have given a free kick to Manchester United. Alistair Yeoman's down on the touchline.
Really, 3 substitutions coming on for Manchester United, but Solskjaer and Roy Carroll.
Here's a taste of FA Cup final action, folks. It's, well, I mean, I suppose it's quite nice for them, but you don't normally change a goalkeeper unless you have to, Jimmy.
Well, he's not tired, is he? I think that Alex Ferguson just getting 3 players onto the field. The match is won.
I'll bet Phil Neville's pleased.
Yes. Interesting point anyway. Van Nistelrooy's got a couple of goals. Last player to score a hat-trick in a cup final, Stanley Mortensen of Blackpool.
You were only a nipper. How old were you then, Jim? Come on, come clean. Come on.
No,
all right. All right. Jim, I'm 52 next month. What age are you?
when I passed 21, I stopped divulging my age.
All right, well, Fletcher's gone off. That's the first.
I'll give you another statistic.
Oh, I thought that was a note from Mike saying you were 71. Well, Fletcher's gone off to be replaced by Nicky Butt. So who else is? Ronaldo's going off. I think he's been Manchester United's best player. He's the man of the match, unless Eriksen's got something daft in his mind. Solskjaer will be coming on. Ronaldo not rushing off because naturally the 28,000 United fans inside the Millennium Stadium are rich in their applause for the Portuguese kid. He's just 19 years of age when he arrived this season, Jimmy. I thought he was far too flamboyant for his own good.
Yes, well, he's
cut out half the step-overs. It looks far better for him.
Yes, he's learned, he's matured. He has matured. And I think, in the last, we've seen it in the last sort of couple of months, I think there's been a change in him. He's got confidence, of course, he's strong, and this Euro 2004 will be interesting with him playing for Portugal.
Well, Carroll is the final replacement for Tim Hart. I think there was genuine confusion or uncertainty, I shall put it that way, in Sir Alex's mind as to which goalkeeper he'd pick for this. He plumped for Hart, but Carroll's played really well. In fact, in terms of their mutual record, Jimmy, there are more clean sheets for United when Roy Carroll's in goal than when Tim Hart's in goal. But anyway, what does that matter? The attendance, by the way, 71,350, and Jimmy's age officially is 112. Giggs with the ball about 30 yards out from goal, trying to play it in towards Van Nistelrooy, who suddenly looks a little bit more urgent. He senses he might get the hat-trick.
Yeah, he does. Bit of a spring now in the step. It's amazing. It was amazing the speed he got to the ball when it was a penalty kick. I watched him. He chased after it.
Well, goal scorers are like that, Any opportunity to score, they're going to rush to take it. McCammon does well. Plays the ball to the left side towards Sweeney, but Brown had the pace just to get there first. His clearance to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And now into Nicky Butt. Van Nistelrooy is peeled away from the defender, and it's hit towards Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy approaching the edge of the penalty area, faced by Elliott, and forced wide by Elliott as well. The ball goes out of play, and is it going to be a throw into Manchester United? The linesman looked to the referee before he raised his flag. It is a United throw, to be taken by John O'Shea. We've got 4 minutes to go, plus stoppage time, probably a couple of minutes of that. O'Shea's throw to Nicky Butt. And Butt turns it onto his right foot. Lays it in low to, and here's a chance for Van Nistelrooy's hat-trick. The shot is blocked. Rebound to Scholes. Scholes overruns the ball and then loses possession entirely. That should have been the hat-trick.
It was a good block in the end. I thought he was going to score because the ball dropped to his right foot.
Oh, McCammon's done well. This time he's got the pace to beat Brown, but he has to beat him again. And he crosses too high for Eiffel, and that's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, so the Millwall fans, they've come to cheer today, and it must be fair, they've given wonderful support to the team. Well done to them. I don't know whether I can say they've enjoyed the day out, but it's been a great day for Millwall. And the fans are behind the goal there. It's nice to see them. They're still cheering everything. It was a poor clearance from, centre from McCann there, but they still cheered it.
Mark Pook actually just pointed out something that I haven't noticed. That's the second year in succession that goalkeepers have been substituted in the FA Cup final, because Naimi, of course, was substituted for Southampton last season by Jones. Well spotted, our Stato man.
It's a good job he's come, really.
Obviously. I don't work for these games, Jim. Turn up and talk. Here's Sweeney from Millwall. 3 minutes to go. Millwall 3-0 down. Wise, unexpectedly, is lasting the whole game. So that Italian doctor is to be commended, because this time last week it seemed as if he couldn't make the final. Well, there's a piece of nonsense. The FA man of the match, officially, is Ruud van Nistelrooy. Garbage. Does Eriksson know what he's doing?
Don't mix your words.
But it is garbage, Jimmy. I mean, he was totally anonymous in the first half. He scored with a penalty kick, and he's tapped the second one in from 2 yards.
That's right. Well, he wouldn't have been my man of the match anyway.
You're having a laugh, Sven.
No, I mean, see, I might surprise you, but I think Keane's play, he's been influential again. He's just stood there in the middle. I've watched him. He's hardly given the ball away, just directed the play, propped up when he had to do. He's such a steady influence on this team.
Are we going to have another Millwall substitution? I think one is imminent, and I'm not... Well, now this is very important. It's Curtis Weston, and if he can get onto the pitch, he will become the youngest ever player to play in an FA Cup final. McCammon has broken through. The linesman didn't have his flag up. What was the referee doing?
Everybody played on, and then the referee went for the substitution.
Well, Curtis Weston is coming on shortly, and it's Dennis Wise that he's replacing. So Wise at 37 and Weston at 17 years and 120 days replaces the Millwall player manager. I don't know if it's merely deliberate to get him onto the pitch to hold this honour, but what a great gesture. And by the way, before you comment, Jimmy, I think it's the final whistle at Hampden Park. Roddy. Roddy's talking to somebody else now. I think it's the final whistle, and I think Celtic have won.
But anyway, it started on with a free kick for Millwall.
Lawrence plays it in. It's headed on into the penalty area, and it's through to Roy Carroll. And Carroll bowls it out underarmed. Gary Neville moves forward for Manchester United. We're inside the final minute of the game. And Neville with a crossfield ball to O'Shea on the far side. O'Shea now into the centre circle to Nicky Butt. And Butt onto Scholes. Scholes swirls the pass to Gary Neville. Neville midway inside the Millwall half. And in it goes towards Butt, but it's taken up by Solskjaer. Scholes to Keane. Keane about to lift the FA Cup for the 4th time in his career, in his 6th final. Keane comes forward. Keane's shot is it's not just wide, it's 5-6 yards wide.
But Manchester United is totally in control of this match. The second half, they've really just dominated it. And Millwall they've run out of ideas, out of players, you know, as we probably all expected. And Keane there, lovely exchange of passes between him and Van Nistelrooy, but he just couldn't provide the shot, screwed past the post. The 90 minutes are actually up.
Yes, we're into 2 minutes of added time for stoppages. It won't make any difference, of course. But then we felt that as soon as Ronaldo scored 2 minutes before half-time, Jimmy, there really was no way back for Millwall. They don't have the resources to make dramatic changes in their lineup, in their tactics. Here's Van Nistelrooy, still on for a hat-trick, but loses possession. And it's played back. And Livermore hits it over the halfway line, picked up by Eiffel. Eiffel now to Kogan. And on the far side, it's with Elliott. Elliott slides the pass forward towards Eiffel. Eiffel didn't control it. Nicky Butt was in there first. Helped out by Keane. 1 minute of stoppage time to go. O'Shea from Manchester United. Certain to be winners of the FA Cup for the 11th time in their history. And Sir Alex Ferguson will become the most successful FA Cup manager of all time. It's some record, isn't it, Jimmy? I know the last couple of years he's been concentrating really on the Champions League and the Premiership, and no one blames him for that.
No, it's fantastic.
But the competition that allowed him to make the breakthrough was in 1990 when they won that replay against Crystal Palace.
Certainly was. And, well, he's made the most of it. And today, it's another big day for him.
Keane to Buck. And back it goes to Gary Neville. We're just playing out time here. Brown on to Keane once more. 15 seconds to go in the 2004 FA Cup final. Manchester United about to claim the prize yet again. Nicky Butt. Butt moving forward. Millwall's defence almost opened up. Steve Parrish gives me the tenner. He's a generous man. I'll wave it in the air. There's the evidence. And it's now in my right pocket. And the FA Cup trophy will be in Manchester United's trophy cabinet very shortly. But here's Eiffel into the penalty. Great tackle from Keane. Even in a stoppage time, Keane goes in hard and wins the challenge, but he may well have hurt himself as well.
Yes, and, you know, that's what I was talking about earlier about Keane, you know, how important he is. What he did there, Eiffel came in from the left-hand side, he got inside one defender, and who was the man who was there? Not the central defender, it was Keane. And Keane stuck his left foot out, and they've both collided, and they both had a knock. But Keane was there. He was there when he's had to be there, and he stopped Eiffel.
Oh, he's not quite the player he was, Jimmy. I mean, he couldn't maintain that level of performance for much longer. But for me, in terms of a player from the British Isles, now I'm including the Republic of Ireland, he's been the dominant figure in the Premiership.
No, he's been a good player, Keane. He really has been. His quality is good. But I think the thing I like about him has been the way that he doesn't only play for himself, he inspires others. He's a good tackler. He knows the game, he can read the game, and he can pass, you know. All those attributes together make a big package.
I think he got caught in the knee there, and it's hurting.
They're both okay anyway, that's the main thing.
That's good, that's good. Well, we're already had our 2 minutes of stoppage time, but of course, time will have to be added on for this interruption to play. Eiffel and Keane are off the pitch at the moment. The referee says it should be a throw-in to Millwall. It's finishing in a pretty sloppy way, unfortunately. Sweeney takes the throw, throws it over the head of McCammon into the penalty area to Roy Carroll. Carroll throws the ball out. We wait for the final whistle, and there is the final whistle. You may not have heard it, but Manchester United have won the 2004 FA Cup final very comfortably in the end.
Yes, they were comfortable, particularly once Ronaldo got that goal 2 minutes before after. That's a real killer blow that was to Millwall. And from that point, Manchester United, I thought, were always going to win. I mean, we said from the start they were, but it's Ronaldo and Giggs' pace, to me, that was just too much. And Keane's dominance and Scholes in that central area. And frankly, Millwall just did not have the resources.
They just wore them down, Jimmy.
They just have not got the resources to break Manchester United down. One thing we forgot to say was Manchester United's defence of late, Alan, has been strong, even in the Premiership, and today they never look like giving anything away.
Well, the Millwall fans, to their immense credit, are just standing and applauding, mostly to our left. There are 21,000 of them inside this stadium today, and whatever else Millwall Football Club has achieved in reaching its first ever cup final, the fans have behaved superbly.
It's been I hope they remember it, you know. I'm sure they will. I was with some little boys in our hotel today. I've spoken to them, 4 little lads, come up from the East End of London, and I said to them, you know, are you going to win? They said, yeah, you know. Well, they haven't won, but they'll never forget this day. You know, I remember going as a little boy to Wembley, and we lost as well when I was there.
and I felt a bit lump in the throat, and they will have felt the lump in the throat, but they'll never forget the day that Millwall got to the FA Cup final. Well, shortly we'll be acclaiming Manchester United's triumph, but it's very important to say that Millwall Football Club and Millwall fans have achieved respectability today in the eyes of the country. Mark.
All the action from the FA Cup here on the BBC World Service.
And you've been listening to the 2004 final here on Sports World. I'm Russell Fuller inside the Millennium Stadium. Joe Jordan, the former Manchester United striker, is with us as well. Joe, Manchester United's worthy winners, aren't they? Not just today, but they've beaten some tough sides along the way this season. Aston Villa, Fulham, Manchester City, and in particular Arsenal in the semi-final.
Yeah, the big game was Arsenal in the semi-final, but they did produce the goods today, and I think over the 90 minutes, I think the class of Manchester United told over Millwall. They persevered, Millwall, they endured a lot of pressure, and they conceded that goal just in the last couple of minutes of the first half, and that was vital for the breakthrough for Manchester United.
Do you think Dennis Wise might regret in years to come not really going for it, or was that realistically the only way they were going to beat Manchester United, by playing a cagey game and catching them on the break?
No disrespect to the Millwall players, but I think you've got to assess your strengths and your weaknesses in Manchester United on paper, and as it showed today, in reality they are a stronger team. And I think if you open out too much against Manchester United, they will cut you up as they did there, and they eventually conceded 3 goals, Millwall, and you were hoping that they weren't going to be too harsh on them, but I think if it opened up even earlier in the game, it could have even went to 4 or 5, but I think that Dennis will look back, as you say, reflect and time passes, and I don't think he'll have any regrets about his tactics. I think he would have liked his team maybe to have threatened